Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video is going to be a review on the ABH Prism palette. This is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette from the holiday kind of launch, and I gotta say, I love ABH, but this is not my favorite palette that I've ever tried, not to spoil it, but let's go ahead and jump into the review. Okay, so basically you get 14 eyeshadows in here. It's a combination of kind of like topper shades, these shimmer shades, and then matte shades. And I will say a plus about this palette is the color selection is very cool. It's definitely outside of my comfort zone, and by cool I don't necessarily mean cool tone. I mean there are cool tone shades in here, but it's different than any other palette I own. I can go ahead and say that. The colors really are stunning. However, I just feel like the quality of these shades is not there. On some of these, like on the mattes, they're absolutely beautiful. So like Eden and Saturn, those are two very super pigmented, beautiful shades. They're effortless to blend on the eyes. I love them. But then you come over here into the shade Lure, and it looks a lot lighter in the pan than when it transfers onto the skin. I just feel like when I use this, my eye look turns out much more muddy than what I want it to be, and I feel like there isn't a great actual transition shade in here. I mean, maybe Unity, but this is very close to my skin tone, so it doesn't really show up. And then speaking of colors not showing up, Lucid is just not my favorite. Like, it's not a great shade. Like, when you first put it on your finger, it looks like, yeah, like this is gonna be great. But as you can see, I'm literally digging my finger into this. On my finger, it looks great. But when you go to blend this out, like, ugh, there's like nothing there. And on the eyes, I feel like this is just chunky. It has a lot of fallout. I'm not sure if you can see or not, but it is very chunky in the pan. Dimension is a little bit better. It is a very pretty purple color. It definitely shows up a bit better, but it comes off darker than what it looks like in the pan. And that's what I kind of find with these other shimmer shades too. So with Throne and Osiris, Throne is like this beautiful deep emerald green color, and on my finger it looks fairly green, but once you actually blend it out on the eyes, it turns into kind of like a muddy mess. I feel the same way about Osiris. The glitter in Osiris just blends away, and the color just looks dirty on the eyes. I'm definitely not a fan of that either. This black up here, Obsidian, this is not a great black shadow at all. And look at these. The three of these shadows could basically be the same thing, and I don't love this one. The shades in here that I do like I said, I really do like Eden, I like Saturn, I like Parallel, which is kind of like a chocolatey brown shade. And I do actually kind of like Sphinx and Ethereal. I feel like as far as shimmers go, these are a little bit better. That right there is what they look like. But overall, this palette was just a little disappointing. And I know that a lot of people really didn't like the Subculture palette, but I actually liked it. I mean, I think that it is a little bit more work than the Modern Renaissance, but it is still a beautiful palette. Again, I feel like it takes me out of my comfort zone. That's what I was hoping with this palette because of the colors, but I just find that the blendability on these is not very good. It is not very user-friendly, and the colors tend to mud up on the eyes, and they look completely different in the pan than when you actually get them on the eyes. Not to mention that even though shades like Throne, Osiris, and Dimension swatch okay with a finger with a brush, even the Anastasia brush that comes with the palette, they are basically impossible to get any sort of decent color payoff on your eyes. They just look smoky and muddy, but not in a cute kind of way. I would say that if you did not like the Subculture palette, you're definitely not going to like the Prism palette. There are some similarities in the mattes, but I still feel like this is a much better palette. And I mean, overall, I think if you're just looking for an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette to invest in, the Modern Renaissance is definitely the way to go. This is everyone's favorite palette, like ever. It's definitely one of my like top 3 favorite palettes of all time, and the blendability on these is gorgeous. I don't think there's a single dud in this palette, and it just kind of sucks because all of these are the same price from Anastasia. All 3 of these are $42, and I feel like the Prism and the Subculture, they were just the Prism not good, the Subculture kind of subpar, but it's okay. Like, I'll use it, I like it, and the Modern Renaissance is just amazing. Although this packaging gets dirty really, really fast. And I really don't like to necessarily give like negative reviews on my channel. I mean, it's not the worst palette I've ever used. I'm definitely going to keep it. I collect Anastasia shadows. I just feel like if you're going to invest in Anastasia shadows, like go for the Modern Renaissance, go for some of her singles, then the Subculture, and last the Prism. I mean, maybe go in store, play with it, see if it's for you. But I just feel like, oh, it's definitely a pass on that one. I am excited to see what else they're going to come out with, but I would not repurchase that again. So that is everything for this video. If you liked this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content from me in the future, please go ahead and subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos from me. And I'll see you next time. Bye.